So I don't even know how to start this video out because what a bombshell, what a Monday, and what a completely shocking but kind of full circle moment for the Miami Dolphins. Because out of nowhere, the Dolphins traded Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith to the Pittsburgh Steelers and got Minkah Fitzpatrick back. Yes, Minkah Fitzpatrick, the same Minkah who was a first round pick for Miami in 2018, the same one who was traded away after a messy split just a year and a half later, and now 5 years later, after turning into a perennial Pro Bowl safety in Pittsburgh, he's back where it all started, and man, it's hard to even wrap your head around what this means. There's a lot to unpack here. We're going to go through all the football angles, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on what this move says about Miami heading into this upcoming season. But first, before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so let's start with the basics. The full trade was Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, and a 2027 7th round pick that is going to Pittsburgh in exchange for Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 2027 5th rounder. So this wasn't just about Minkah. The Dolphins gave up their top corner, a tight end who just had the best season of his career, and a pick just to move up 2 rounds 4 years from now, which tells you right away this was about getting Minkah, period. They made this deal because they believed he could change the entire dynamic of this defense right away from the jump, and if he's anywhere near the guy we saw in Pittsburgh from 2019 to 2022, this could be a home run type of move. Now, let's rewind things a bit, because the last time Minkah was in Miami, things didn't exactly end on good terms. He was frustrated with how he was being used. There were rumors of tension that was growing with the coaching staff, and after just 2 games in his second season, he was traded to the Steelers, and he immediately made the Dolphins look really bad, because he turned into one of the best safeties in football, earning 5 Pro Bowl nods, 3 first-team All-Pro selections, and he was the heart of the Steelers secondary for 5 straight years, a team that is absolutely built on defense. But now at age 28, he's back in Miami, and you can bet this front office believes the past is in the past, because football-wise, he brings a level of playmaking and leadership this team desperately needs. The timing of this trade is what is so fascinating to me as a football fan. Ramsey was expected to be on the trade block eventually. That part isn't a shocker. He missed time last year with the meniscus injury, and while he still played at a high level when he was healthy, it was clear that Miami was exploring other options, but nobody saw this coming in June. Most people thought this move would happen closer to camp or during the season, but credit to the Dolphins for moving early and getting a guy who can step right in and lead this defense from the jump. So let's talk about schemes. New defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver is going to be working with a lot of new pieces this year, and adding Minkah gives him the ultimate chess piece. Because he's not just a free safety, he can play deep, he can come down in the box, he can line up in the slot, he can blitz, and most importantly, he can take the ball away. That's something this defense really lacked in recent seasons. Despite all the talent, Miami has struggled with turnovers forced. Yes, Minkah played all 17 games last year and only recorded 1 interception, but if you watch the tape, the instincts were still there. The IQ, the closing speed, the range, it's still elite. And even more importantly, this defense is younger than it's been in years. Bringing in a proven veteran who's vocal, experienced, and battle-tested, that matters. This trade does create a ripple effect, because by bringing in Minkah, the Dolphins now have questions in their safety room. Javon Holland signed with the New York Giants in free agency on a massive 3-year, $45.3 million deal, so he's no longer with the team. You've got newly signed veterans like Afitu, Melifonwu, and Ashton Davis, plus other depth pieces, and only so many of those guys are going to make the roster, so that's going to be one of the biggest storylines of training camp. Who gets the nod to start next to Minkah? How do they build the secondary around him? It's going to be interesting to follow. Now, of course, this trade wasn't only just about the secondary. The other part of this deal is that Miami lost Jonnu Smith, and say what you want, but that's a big deal. Smith had a career year in Miami last season. He set franchise records for a tight end with 88 receptions for 884 yards and 8 touchdowns, and yeah, I get it, he wanted a pay bump, he's about to be 30, the front office didn't want to extend him, that's fine. But replacing him is not going to be easy, because as much as Mike McDaniel's offense leans on Tyreek Hill and Waddle, who themselves have kind of been having their own issues, having that safety blanket over the middle was huge. And now, you're looking at Tanner Scott, Julian Hill, and Pharaoh Brown as your tight end room. That is probably not going to cut it here, let's just be honest. There are options. The Dolphins could go after someone in free agency, or maybe they could swing another trade. There's been some talk and rumors around the idea of Miami calling Vegas about Michael Mayer, and honestly, that'd be a perfect fit. He's a young, cheap, reliable tight end who can block and catch, and he won't get that big of an opportunity in Vegas anyways with Brock Bowers in front of him. If they can pull pull that off, it would be a massive win for this offense right now. But either way, the loss of Smith leaves a hole, no way around that. Let's go back to Minkah's contract situation because this was another reason why this move makes sense for Miami. Fitzpatrick is under contract through 2026. His base salaries are around $15.5 million this year and $17.6 million next year, and then he becomes a free agent. But the kicker is that he has no guaranteed money left on his deal, so Miami has complete flexibility. If things go well, you ride it out. If they don't, you can cut bait in 2026 with minimal cap damage. It's a low risk, high reward situation, especially for a player with Minkah's resume. And speaking of resume, let me remind you just how good this guy's been. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-time All-Pro, as I mentioned. He's one of the highest graded safeties in football over the last 5 years, according to Pro Football Focus. And while last season was arguably the least productive of his career in terms of turnovers, that was largely also due to the fact that Pittsburgh's secondary was dealing with various issues. But put him in a system with a strong pass rush and other playmakers around him, you might see vintage Minkah back at it once again. And then from a leadership standpoint, this also gives Miami someone who's been in deep playoff battles. He's played in tough AFC North slugfests. He's lined up against Lamar, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, even Josh Allen, all the names that matter in January. And now he brings that experience to a team that missed the playoffs in 2024 with an 8-9 record after making it the previous 2 seasons. You need voices in the locker room who have been there, and Minkah definitely brings that. Financially, the Dolphins also clear cap space by moving off of Ramsey, whose cap hit was going to be around $18.3 million this year, so even with Minkah's salary, they still save a few million. It's not huge, but every dollar counts when you're trying to build a contender, especially with where the Dolphins are at right now. And with Tua's contract already extended on a 4-year, $212.4 million deal, Jalen Waddle's 5th-year option, and Christian Wilkins already having walked in free agency to Las Vegas, the front office has to be careful with how they structure things. So where does this leave Miami heading into camp? On one hand, they now have a secondary that includes Minkah Fitzpatrick, plus corners like Kader Kohou and Cam Smith. That's not bad, though you'd probably still need one more proven veteran corner. On the other hand, you've got a tight end room that feels incomplete and a defensive line that still has some questions after losing Wilkins, but this move shows that Miami is trying to stay aggressive. They know the AFC is still wide open, even though nobody expects them to do anything, including myself. They know the division is tough, and they're making bets on high upside players who can swing games. In the end, it's going to come down to fit. Can Minkah stay healthy? How long is it going to take him to click with Weaver's system? Can he recapture some of his early playmaking ability in a new environment? If the answer is yes, then this might go down as one of the savviest trades of the offseason. If not, well, it's only a 2-year experiment with an easy out, but either way, it's fascinating, and I think it says a lot about how this team views its timeline. They know they missed the playoffs last year and can't afford to just stand still. They're not trying to fully rebuild just yet, they're swinging, and bringing Minkah Fitzpatrick back into the building is one heck of a swing. That's really all I have to say for this video though. Let me know what you thought about this trade in the comments below, and if you made it to this point and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.